I understand that after Tupac was shot, that a few days after that, back in Compton, a lot of gang activity started between South Sides and the Mob Piru guys. Are you aware of this? And if so, can you kind of give me a breakdown of some of the events that you're aware of that happened in the aftermath of Tupac getting shot?
It was a war zone, to be honest. It was they were just going back and forth. As far as breakdowns, I don't know. I know there was one or two murders and numerous assaults on both sides, both in Compton and in Linwood. So that's how we ended up, getting together with Timmy and Bobby, and ending up going out to Las Vegas to, give them some of the information that had been gathered during this very violent couple weeks.
Okay. I know we focused a lot today on Biggie and Tupac because, that's kind of the audience that we have. But if you wouldn't mind, can you explain? Because I know you've investigated a lot of homicides and stuff like that. Can you tell me if there's one case or one investigation that sticks out in your head that stays with you, and maybe why it stays with you?
Um, One of my last cases, a elderly couple was brutally murdered out in the city of Laverne, and it was just a very senseless murder. Um, and there was just a whole lot of dynamics to this case. They had 5 or 6 children from different marriages, and there was a lot of infighting. And at first, we were thinking it was possibly the kids wanting to have them murdered. We ended up discovering one of the kids was using uh, a warehouse that the father, one of the deceased, owned as a marijuana grow. So there was just a whole lot of things. But when it comes down to it, we got a DNA match from the suspect, who just happened to be a homeless guy that wandered up on the hill and killed him. It was just, and we're talking about somebody that's 70 and 80 years old. I think that's probably one of the more difficult cases for me to put behind me. We've got a conviction on the guy, but it's just these people are at the end of their lives, and to be killed in their own home was just completely senseless.
Yeah, and I feel like stuff like that can come back to the Tupac case because people don't realize, and especially people outside of California, and this is just my opinion, but they don't realize how often and how normal in the gang world it is that, if you beat up the wrong person and then you leave, that person who we know is capable of murder is going to come back and they're going to kill you. And I feel like people think because Tupac was such a huge star that it couldn't happen to him, and that's part of the reason for a lot of the conspiracies and things like that is they just don't feel like gang violence is as senseless and as real as we all know it is.
Well, let's be honest. The only time that is going to get a gang case is going to get publicized is if a child is killed, a young innocent child, a grandmother by a stray bullet. But the shootings, stabbings, rapes, robberies, they go on a daily basis. And not just in California, throughout every major city here. So it goes on a daily basis. That is part of their lifestyle. And I worked gangs for 14 years and then homicide for 12. So you got to see a little bit of everything. And again, this stuff goes on a daily basis, and the general public has no idea because it's not affecting them outside of their world, which, I mean, it's sad to say, but that's a part of their life there.